Welcome everybody to Cowboy Crypto Sit Down with Alexander Baaliman, other known as Baali to quite a few from Gopnik. We're here to explore what he's doing in the space. This is the first of many in the series of interviews I'm going to be doing with several different people that are prominent in the space. Alex being the first one because we collaborate and he's one of the closer ones to me. And so I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself a little bit here before we start the real interview. And I hand it over to you, Alex.
Everyone, hello, Henry. Thank you for that invitation. Thank you for having me here today. And also welcome to everyone who's listening. My name is Alexander, also known as Baali to some people. And I'm 37 years old. I'm working usually as an engineer in the renewable energy sector, but I'm also in the crypto business for quite a while. So Bitcoin, I think that was my starting point, like for the most people. And then I went through some cycles, through some coins, and ended up with the XRP ledger now. And coding a lot, developing platform, the Gopnik wallet. That's what we call it at the moment. But there's more behind it.
Well, I mean, there's even a lot more behind you than just that. I mean, your renewable energy that you're a part of. There's so many projects that you're a part of. It's hard to list them all, but definitely, I think the autonomous drone, the recent accreditation that you got for that, I think is really interesting and shows a lot of talent. Just not just amongst you, but I mean you and Vivek and everybody else. It kind of makes this whole ecosystem. It's great that you have all them people. You have people that you're doing that with, that you're actually working in Gopnik with. So we can see the talent's already produced something amazing in one place. It's bound to do something here for sure.
I mean, that's the good thing about being an improvement engineer. I have access, or I deal a lot with newest technology. So it's you mentioned already autonomous drones, it's AI, it's crypto and data analysis. But I think most of these things come together now in one project, and most of the things I learned in the past also flows now into something bigger we can talk about today.
So Gopnik. So do me a favor, for people that don't actually know what Gopnik XRPL is. Explain to them what it is if someone was to just come up and say, well, what is Gopnik? What did you create?
Yeah, I mean, a few things about Gopnik, the origin, where it came from, because when you Google it, you will definitely not end up with crypto.
That's true.
So that's the story how the whole project started. So it started on the XRP ledger as a meme coin project in November 24. And then it grew and developed to a whole ecosystem. But when it started, the developer or the original developers, the founders of the project, some of them had a Slavic background, and a Gopnik is a stereotype of some person. So some people hanging around in the streets, squatting a lot. So
well, kind of like our hip hop-ish, grunge-ish culture, you know what I mean?
Exactly, some kind of Slavic hip hop. So
Slavic
hip hop. That's something
I'll always
imagine them.
I always like when I go through the different posts from people from Gopnik. It's always the deep squats with the deep beats and the track suits, and I really like the whole vibe that y'all put off.
These are exactly the characteristics. So the Adidas tracksuits, the squatting position, and that's why we picked it up as a theme, as a topic. But then, out of that, so the project brought a lot of nice people together, a lot of people with great ideas, some talented people. We also have Gopnik records developed in the meantime. Our first album is ready, so we have songs already, and we like to underline our contact with in-house productions. We like to keep everything in-house, and that's also a reason why we developed a whole platform. So I mentioned the Gopnik wallet already, but there's way more behind it. So it's not only a wallet, it's a whole management system for crypto, for your crypto, for coins, and so on.
Well, I'll say, and I say it a lot, especially whenever I get a chance to voice my opinion, um, that we have a lot of tech in the space as it is. And so, with what my company does and what we do with bringing education in with a more simplistic way to, to educate people, I want to work with people that are going to be good people, trustworthy people, because we have enough tech. We have plenty
Yeah.
of tech right now. It's trust that is lacking in the space, and it's not because there isn't trustworthy people. It's because of all the fear and the misunderstanding that's in this space. And so that's one of the reasons I want to put out there that I am always and will always be happy that we are collaborating because I'm working with such a good group of people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's definitely the ticket to the space is getting in with the right people that are trustworthy that can push the narrative forward. And I can see that happening at Gopnik. And I
No,
definitely,
thanks a lot. But yeah, actually, you're mentioning a very important point here. So the trust, we all know these negative stories about crypto, people getting scammed, and so on. So there is this technology, the blockchain technology, and we try to use it. And in the past, a lot of people abused it. So there's a
mm-hmm.
bad image, and this is something we try to correct. The blockchain technology itself is absolutely safe and secure. It's mathematically just not possible to tamper with it. And based on that, we build on this blockchain. So then it's of course on us to secure wallets, to secure data, to create a safe environment. But that's the good thing about the collaboration between us, that education is a big part of the whole new system that we are trying to implement, or part of the system we are trying to implement. It's a new technology, and people are some kind of scared or fear new things. But I think with the blockchain technology, we can make things safer and much easier at the same time in the future.
Well,
But to
I
get
think
there,
it's
we need to build and to develop some tools, of course.
agreed, and I believe it's a lot like grandma and video calls. Back in not too long ago, grandma
Yeah.
could not stand the internet, could not believe that she was always on the internet, can't believe you're always looking at the screen. But now, when grandma wants to talk to her grandson, she's right there on the video call, just big smiles and not thinking twice about what she's doing. The
Yeah.
technology gets integrated through more usage and more trust. Um, and not to get off that, but we do have a lot to get through before this interview is over with. And you've given us a little bit of the backstory on Gopnik some. What was the moment that you're like, what they call the aha moment, when founders are like,
Yeah.
this is happening, this is the problem I need to solve, and it hits you like that, like this is something that's going to be good for everybody, including me.
Um, I think I cannot remember this exact aha moment. It was more like a process, a learning process. So when we started, we knew something about blockchain technology, but the XRP ledger was new for us. And then I started, deep diving into the topic. And when I found out that the XRP ledger is an open source technology, and more or less everyone can start developing on or with that blockchain. This was a big aha moment for me when I realized that I can use this technology or for whatever use case I have. There is much more behind the ledger than just doing transactions or create NFTs. We found a way actually to apply logic in an absolute safe way to the XRP ledger. So there are not only wallets available, for example, there are escrow wallets where you can lock your assets. There are multi-signature wallets, and these two features, for example, give us a lot more possibilities to go into direction of smart contracts. For example, you can use more than one wallet or more than one signer in the future to sign a transaction. So this is already an increase of trust. When you have community wallets or something like that, it's not down to one person. You don't have to trust one single person now in future with these multi-signature wallets. And you can implement contracts, you can implement a lawyer or whatever now, and yeah, you can start with implementing logic in an absolute safe way and safe environment with the XRP ledger.
Okay, and so you actually answered quite a few other questions I was going to ask you, because getting into the tech of your project kind of gets into what you were just talking about. So maybe a different question. It's okay if you don't have a direct answer. It's okay if the answer is broad. But if you were looking at Gopnik over the next 3 to 5 years, and you were looking at it, where it's going to go, and where you're going to introduce it into, what you see for
Yeah.
Gopnik's future, what would it look like?
Okay, what I see is definitely a lot of potential because what we are trying to achieve is to build not just a platform where people can interact with the XRP ledger in an absolute very easy and safe way. We also want to create some customized solution for businesses, for example. Some businesses have really good use cases where the blockchain technology could absolutely more efficient or be more efficient than solutions we have nowadays, because the financial system at the moment it's outdated. So the internet, for example, grew, the information tech, the IT grew in all directions, but we are still relying on a financial system, yeah, that's outdated. I said it already. And
Yeah, for
exactly
sure.
here comes our software, our platform, our technology, or not our technology, the ledger, the blockchain technology in place. And yeah, best case in 3 to 5 years, of course, if we have our platform somewhere established as a real product, as something we can always reference to, and as an example to show what is possible, because now we have something we can use and most people have no clue what to use it for, and that's our job to
Yeah,
tell
I've
them.
I've had a little bit of a inside look into the stuff, and it is everybody's going to be very impressed once everything is completely released that you're doing. I got to say, and it is definitely one of those things that, like you said, once the platform and everything's up and rolling, the 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 tools it will allow for people to get away from, like you said, the old school infrastructure, old school way of doing things, is remarkable. I got it. Hats off to you when everybody gets to see it, and also into our second interview when we get a little more deeper dive into the intricacy. I'm excited for people to see. All right, and so the next question I would like to ask is, what real world application would you say you'd be focused on first with Gopnik?
So I think the biggest one we try to cover is the tokenization of real world assets. That's a big thing and that's developing very fast at the moment. So if you ask me, that's one of the biggest or most fastest growing sectors at the moment. And this means a lot of capital is inflowing into the crypto market because of exactly this feature, this tokenizing of real world assets. This starts with this starts with the stock market, for example, but also real estate market. You can become investor in future easier than ever and faster than ever, because just imagine to tokenize a big house, or you need to find investors. Just
We have friends.
tokenize it
Yeah,
and make it available on the blockchain as a token or as an NFT. You can present it or many things as token or NFTs on the blockchain in future. So the access to become an investor will be pretty low at the moment. no, will be pretty low in the future.
Right now, it's kind of hard to get into because things aren't split up as much as they will be in the future when they're tokenized. And we see that with one of our good friends, Wes Watkins, with Liquid Acres. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? That's a real interesting project that they're doing. Not to get off of what
and
we're talking about
also
here,
that's
but
actually a big thing coming, tokenizing energy. So as I'm working as an engineer in the renewable energy sector, I can imagine that this is actually one of the biggest things happening in future because the energy market, if you look at it,
oh
is
yeah,
trillions. And imagine representing that on a blockchain. So I see a lot of money flowing into many different projects in future because of actually this tokenizing thing.
um, so a lot of times in my network, I talk about AI a lot because I do find it interesting in how it plays a part in a lot of stuff. And so, first and foremost, what parts would AI play in your project?
So AI plays different roles. For example, let's start at that point where we started as a meme coin. Now, content generation is much easier now. A few days back, you needed designer, you needed artists for everything. Um, I mean, now being an artist now with the help of AI, it's like
Yeah,
having superpower now.
yeah,
So this is also how I use it, where AI comes into place in another part for coding. So coding became way faster, way more efficient, and this is also why things are developing faster now because of these tools we can use now with AI. So it's content generation, for example. Then yeah, we have developing itself. Another part I've covered is data analysis, or let's say also chart analysis. I implemented different algorithms on my platform. It's machine learning algorithms, anomaly detection, and so on. You can build your own trading bot, or you can build your your
yeah.
own chart analyzer.
I
Um,
found that really
I,
fascinating.
and I try to support you with tools. So also the software. So you can analyze charts in future. You can talk to your data, and you can train your own models based on whatever criteria you like. You can train an aggressive bot or a conservative bot or balanced whatever. So these are three things where I see AI at the moment in my project.
So, and AI in general, does it seem to you like it's influencing the way people are viewing um, conventional fiats comparative to digital assets? Do you think it's pulling more people to digital assets? Do you think it's going to um, hinder digital assets? Or do you think it's going to help?
Hard to answer because let's say I don't see a direct connection now between AI and our financial system. Of course, it will help a lot of people to get closer to the new system because gathering information is way faster now, and you get high quality answers in most of the cases. And the AI is helping, as I said, developing everything now. So the access to many things will become easier. And this is what developers are using already now, to use AI to make things easier accessible.
So, a better way of maybe putting this would be saying that I've seen where they use AI agents to do a lot of things now.
Yeah.
And that being said, and I don't completely agree with it, but they're basically giving them the keys to the castle. and allowing them to do everything, which allows them to kind of move money and stuff as well. And
Yeah.
when they're moving money and stuff, this is kind of what I'm getting at is that there was a study that I seen recently about AIs choosing native digital assets and Bitcoin predominantly, but that's just because Bitcoin is more known than anything.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, that it was choosing the native digital assets over conventional currency, conventional fiats. And so that's what I'm getting as the more use we see of the agents coming
Mm.
into place, I'm thinking, my opinion is that we're going to see more digital assets being used and normalized by this AI agent, by these, because when people go in to check their stuff, they're going to see the AI agents was using this, and I don't come from a software development background. I was an electrician,
Yeah.
and so when I go and do things, a lot of times I am basically vibe coding, and so I don't want to muck with the code. And
Mm.
and so I think it's going to be kind of the same thing when they're going to come to you and they're going to say, okay, we use Bitcoin for this. You're like, well, I don't really want to mess with them, so
Yeah.
let them use Bitcoin for now. And I think, and so that's kind of what I'm getting at. But I do see your point that that there's not a direct linkage, but I do believe that outside of it with AI agents and stuff we're getting into, I believe that there will be some. Um, so let's see. Um, let's get into some a little bit of tougher questions that most people don't really like to answer.
Yeah.
If someone was to criticize Gopnik or has criticized Gopnik, but their criticism had some type of validity, what would it be?
Um, Always when someone is criticizing me, there is something to improve, and I really like to take this critic from people to improve my project. If it's sometimes it's just not valid, but what I hear often is well, it's too complicated, it's new, because a lot of terms also when you're from Germany, it's not just in English, it's just some kind of new language you sometimes have to learn, and this is yeah, also how we improved or try to improve to make all this whole complex system digestible, and also not to overload them with information. So we really had to filter what is necessary to know, what is optional to know, and what or sometimes we can give this decision to the user. If they like to learn more about some things, we can give them the opportunity to dive deeper into many things. And
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's that, and that's to be honest, that's not too bad. To say that it's a little complicated, that does mean that at least you got your stuff there. It's just a little hard to understand. And that's just a matter of polishing things up. It's not so bad.
yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
good criticism. That's not bad. Um, so what risk do you think people in crypto are underestimating right now? What because people are focused on people are truly focused right now on the dips that's been happening. Is there something beyond that that you would say that people are missing when they're looking at this? When they're looking at it just being, the market's failing. What are they missing when they're looking at this that they're underestimating on the back end?
So if I got this question wrong, um, what is missing?
Okay,
Can
so
you can you
yeah, so
rephrase it? I
yeah,
don't.
right, no, I understand completely. That's fine. So with everybody looking at the market dropping like it has recently, and
Yeah.
past the conflict in the Middle East and Iran, beyond that, because we've seen this before then, and everybody's seeing this, and they're seeing everything drop so quickly. What are they underestimating in the background? Because for me, it's that the bounce back we always see. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are missing. that's for me. But there's I've heard a lot of different things. Some people are like, well, they're not looking here, and they don't realize that that energy and oil and macro is affected. There's all kinds of different views on it. It's just nice to hear maybe Gopnik's view
Yeah.
on what's holding the market down that and everybody's looking at that they're missing.
I think there are a few things. So when the market drops, some people are, of course, happy because
Bye bye
if you
bye.
want to see it positive, it's a good way to step in, to buy
Hmm.
in, buy the dip, what they like to say. But that's actually something when you lost something because the market dipped, you need to have some reserve to cover your losses because when the market starts growing again, and this is what happens if we look back in the crypto development in the past, it happens. We just don't know exactly when. Another positive factor, when the market drops that much, this means someone or bigger amounts were sold or were divided somewhere else. Every dip makes the blockchain more safe, so to say, because if this person would sell at a later point at a higher price, the impact would be much higher. So a dip is also a, let's say, redistribution in many cases of the coins. But still in the crypto market, as we don't have that many, let's say, connections to the to the economic to our ecosystem, it relies at the moment a lot on hype, supply, and demand.
Yeah.
Because the market it grows, but we are still in an area where a few people can do some big movements, and just by their opinions. Imagine Elon Musk is twittering something.
Yeah.
This has a big impact uh, on the market at the moment because the volatility is still there. And in the future, these deltas of the volatility will become smaller because when we have businesses connected to it, when we have real use cases connected to it, the price will stabilize itself over time. So these peaks, these big up and downs will become less in
And
future.
and
And
so that's what
to become
that
there, we need to go through some circles now. So
that leads
it's
me into
simple. Yeah.
the next question actually. Um is actually the future of crypto, which is do you think that crypto is heading into a mass adoption, or do you think it's headed into like fragmentation?
I think it's going in the mass adoption direction, slowly but steady. So it will not happen tomorrow, not this year. It will be over the next decade and maybe and so on. So
Yeah.
this will be the mass adoption of the transformation of the financial system. There will be fragmentation in other parts. So businesses are not interested in using some public available blockchain network data or whatever. And there will be island solutions for special needs. Businesses will have their own blockchain, whatever, or logistic companies will register their items on blockchain. There are many possibilities, but this all, will go into that direction of mass adoption as well. So
So do you think XRP is going to rise up from where it is to a higher spot? Do you think it's going to rise above Bitcoin, or do you see it more along the lines of everybody's going to have their place in the field to play their place on the team?
yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Rise above Bitcoin. This means
It's
I
a
think not
lot.
price per XRP. I think you're talking about the market cap.
Yeah, market cap.
Theoretically, it's absolutely possible because XRP or the XRP ledger was created to revolutionize the international banking system or the banking transfer system, the messaging system. Um, if we move completely to the XRP ledger, then we are bigger than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is now you have some use cases, some businesses adopt Bitcoin payment already, but there's still a downside of Bitcoin. And this downside is covered by XRP. For example, we have the super high transaction rate. We have a very low negotiable, low, almost zero transaction costs, which makes it absolutely more attractive for other use cases where Bitcoin is just not usable. When we want to use smart contract features, when we want to connect it to other chains, all these things can just partly be covered by Bitcoin. Other blockchains have other advantages. So there will also be use case based blockchains that fit into place. So the XRP ledger and the international financial or banking system is just one example. So if you take Corium or Ethereum, for example, there we have the smart contract feature.
Yeah.
And I think connecting these ecosystems and blockchains in future to grow.
Well, I think that's where it's at too. I agree with you 100%, Alex. You know, a lot of people are you know, and I do love it because it's like football teams. You know, they'll go against each other, but we're all kind of, you know, we're all playing football.
Yeah, but all playing the same game.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, I love everybody in the spaces and stuff, and so I get along with everybody. But you know, we love XRP. Don't get me wrong. XRP is like a family to me. It brought me in early stages, and they definitely kind of they're very family-ish.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I could definitely go down that road. But we are slowly but surely running out of time, and so we're going to do the rapid fire round where I shoot some questions off at you, and you just kind of give me a quick answer, the first thing that pops in your head. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All righty. Most underrated project right now.
Gopnik.
One thing people get wrong about XRPL.
It's the same like Bitcoin.
Okay. Bullish or bearish over the next 12 months?
Bullish.
Yeah. All right. If you had to decide on one trend that's happening in crypto right now to follow, what would that trend be? Maybe not the best rapid fire question.
I I have an answer, but I'm missing the English word for it. To this diversity of your portfolio.
Oh yeah. Diversify.
Diversify.
Yeah. Very
Can
good.
we cut it that I should diversify?
Very good. Very good. I really like that. So if someone watches this and only gets to remember one thing from this whole interview that me and you've done, what would be the most important thing you'd want them to focus
on? Start working with our platform in future, because we will educate, we will create environment for you to give you a smooth access and also to use or to get the most out of the blockchain technology, out of the XRP ledger, and get in touch with other technologies.
I love it. All right, Alex. Well, thank you so much, or Baali, as many people know him as. Thank you so much for coming on In It Win It, Crypto Cowboy Sit Down. We've enjoyed our time with you, and are excited for the next segment where we deep dive and the Gopnik and maybe get a little bit of a presentation and interview as well, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you as well, Henry. It was a pleasure for me to be here, and yeah, looking forward to talking to you in our next session.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.